Okay, this is a follow-up to clip 3, and what we're going to do is I'm working on trying to establish and help you understand the departmental concept and the warm handoff from one department to the next. Now, your disassembly blueprint team just got done doing a complete repair plan on the vehicle, and they went ahead and sent an email over to your parts person to go ahead and order parts. So in this clip, I'm going to highlight procurement of parts, and I'm going to take you right up into the parts tab. Now, when I go into the parts tab, what I'll do is, you can see I have a front bumper on this vehicle that needs to be ordered. So I went ahead and I've tagged the box, and I'm going to drag and drop to on order, and I want to order the part. So I went ahead and already have my software set up that this is a Toyota model vehicle, and I've automatically have it to where it selects the vendor that I'm purchasing my bumpers from, my parts from, or my bumper from Toyota. Now, it has an order date which defaults to today, and I also have a due date, and this is a great opportunity to make sure that we have correct communication on when the part's going to come in for the vehicle. So since I'm not getting parts orders tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that that part will be in on Monday the 21st. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and I can send over a note. I need it ASAP, or it can possibly be price match a part. So in this, I'm going to ask for the part as soon as possible. So I'm going to hit OK, and at this time, I'm going to get a parts order form that comes up, and let me show you what that's going to look like. So I've got a parts order. It gives us all of the information. We're going to need these parts as soon as possible. The RO number obviously is going to give us the name of our company, and here is the vehicle description information, as well as there's the part that I want to order, and the part is a new part. So that should give us an opportunity to go ahead and send the parts order over on a couple different ways. We can fax it, we can email it to the parts department, or we can print it off and put it on a fax machine if that's the way you're procuring your parts. So at this time, I'm going to red X, and you can see that we have visual controls in place that this part has been put on order. It also indicates up in the information bar that we have one part on order at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to receive the part. So what I'm going to do is, it's defaulted that my actual cost is what I've negotiated with my parts vendor, that I'm going to have a 30% markup on this part. If I need to change the actual cost when this part comes in, I'll have an opportunity to do that as well. So at this point, I've tagged the part, and the vendors brought the vehicle part into me, so I'm going to tag and drag it to receive. Now, this area is going to come up and it's going to ask me to receive the part. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the invoice number in, and you can see down here that I have a calculated cost of $210. Now, the subtle discipline that's in place is we want to make sure that all of our invoices that come in, we have the correct information on what the cost was. Now, if I were to try to force in a cost of $210.02 and try to receive the part, Summit's not going to allow us to do that until we have the documentation correct. So you see where I have my invoice amount does not match the calculated cost, and it's allowing us to see what the problem is. So at this time, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go ahead and put the correct price in. So we're going to say it's $210, say 20, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to see that that should be changed there. Now, if the list price has changed, we can do an adjusted list price of 320 cents. And what it's going to do is, it's automatically going to turn green and allow you to realize that you have a part price change, as well as you've already started some type of a supplement that you may end up needing to collect or mirror your estimate in your estimating system to be identical to what's true in fact. The true in fact is in your management system that the change is made. Many times these changes are not reflected or asked for from your insurance partner, and you're leaving money on the table that's becoming uncollected. So I'm going to go ahead and tag and drag and drop the received item at this point, and now I'm going to go ahead and receive it by putting my invoice number in and the amount, and that's going to be $210.20. Now, earlier in my first slide, we went over our media. At this time, you can go ahead and scan the invoice in and put it in the media under the parts that you received. So this way here, at any given time, anyone that's engaged in this system can go in and view that information or that invoice. Now we don't have to make several invoice copies and stick them in file folders, and we can reduce the amount of paper that we're using, which is also going to reduce your amount of expense. Again, it can also be created as a supplement that we may email that invoice right out of the Summit program to the appropriate insurance partner. So I'm going to go ahead and receive this part, and that's pretty much how easy it is to put parts on order and receive. So at this time, my parts person put the parts on order, and he's going to take and move the vehicle to the next department, which is dispatch, and that could be where you're going to have a buffer that's going to allow you to understand how much work you have that you can go ahead and start to delegate into your technician or your workload into your shop. It also gives you an opportunity to have a replenishment buffer that possibly would give you an opportunity to see what your current status is on how many available labor hours you can bring into the process, or how many hours you need to schedule work in. So this could be a very important piece. And I'm not telling everyone that you have to set these departments up identical to the way I have them set up. I'm just giving you an opportunity to see how you can possibly utilize these departments. Again, we have the departmental checklist. Remember, we have that subtle discipline that could be in place, that we want to make sure that everything is being done the way you expect it to be done by your employees, and it gives them some direction on what they need to do. So here I'm going to go ahead and just get right through my sub-department, and at this time we have the vehicle in dispatch. So now from dispatch we know that we can put the vehicle into production. So in this clip I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work our way into understanding the Time Clock Central and how your technicians will be able to engage or utilize that Tech Central. So at this time we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the car or job into production, and I'm going to go ahead and just put it right into heavy build. Even though the vehicle does not have heavy build, it is one of my departments that I have to move the vehicle through. So at that time I'm going to go ahead and let me minimize the screen, and there's your departmental concept, vehicles in heavy build at this time, and you've dispatched it to your technician. Now my technician will be taken over from here, and no longer is my administrative people doing this part of the business. They've done their piece of the business. They've formally handed it off to the technicians. Now at this time the technician is going to go in and he's going to select his name. In this case I'm going to select Jason, and I'm going to go ahead and show the jobs that's in the shop. Now we can password protect so the technicians will only see their work, or they will only be allowed to go in and view just their history. And at this time I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look for that job. So I'm showing all jobs just for an example here in our demo. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to search for this job, and I can do it a couple different ways. I can scroll through the list, or I can go ahead and type it in, and in this case I'm typing it in and I'm looking for an RO number, and I'm going to hit OK. And you see it's came down and defaulted to this job. Now this technician at any given time could go in and he can look at the part status, and he can also view the estimate of repair at any given time right from the Time Clock Central. So here he's only going in and clicking on the RO number to be able to access that information. He also has an opportunity, instead of walking to the front office, if he needs to send an internal email up to the estimator, the production manager, or the parts manager, he can go ahead and he can send that information up. Hopefully it'll never be need supplement if we're doing our disassembly correctly. That's not going to happen. He could just ask, maybe possibly, can you come see me? And he can send and save as send, and he sent that email up to the front office. Now, this technician, Jason, is a flat rate technician. So he's going to go ahead and look at where the vehicle is in production, and he can go ahead and pay himself. Now, if we have heavy build framework, that when he moves the vehicle from one department, he would be paid frame labor. If he moves the vehicle and there is no frame labor, then he's not paying himself. So at this time, I'm putting a check mark in the box so that you can recognize that the technicians have an opportunity to pay themselves a percentage of the completion of repair, how you feel those percentages should be dropped, whether they're frame labor, body labor, refinish labor, whatever the case may be, mechanical. And at this time, Jason's going to go ahead and move the car to the next department. So he's moving the vehicle from heavy body to the body and he's going to flag any labor. He also has an opportunity to have a departmental checklist, and this can be turned off as well. And we'll go ahead and hit complete and X out. Now, if he would like to send any information up to the office and we decide to utilize the department, the sub-departments, he could do that, or he could just cancel out. Now, what Jason's done is he's went ahead and he's communicated with the front office that this is where the vehicle is in production, and when he completes the vehicle's repair, Jason will do the same thing by going back in, and he will move the vehicle and pay himself the percentage that you've established of completion of the vehicle and what he will be paid in his flat rate hours. So he's moving the vehicle from the body department to the paint prep, and he's warmly handing off his work to the paint prep, which also sends information to anyone that's logged on administratively up front in the office. So at any given time, the staff in the office can communicate intelligently by picking up the phone and see where the vehicle is in the production steps. So at this time, I'm going to say yes, and Jason's just paid himself, and he's also sent communication up to the front office. Now, what's going to happen is everyone is sharing in that job of moving the vehicles through the production step. So here is an important part of what you could gain by utilizing the management software. Again, each time those vehicles move through those production steps, one, we have communication, but we also have an opportunity to see what the departmental cycle time is, as well as what does my workload look like in each one of my departments. So if I look and see that a department possibly is out of balance, I may be able to deploy resource from one department to the other so that I can go ahead and keep my deliveries on track or my departments on track so that I can gobble up the problem or problematic areas that I'm seeing or I could possibly forecast that's going to be a problem. Now I've learned to start to balance my workload according to department. Also, I'm going to have some great information pertaining to what I need to do to start to recognize that that departmental concept and how that departmental concept can help me. So in this clip, I've given you some opportunity to see how the warm handoff takes place, how that the system is not daunting if everyone is engaged in the system. The same goes on the hourly. If a technician is hourly, he's going to go ahead and clock on, and you're going to measure his time that he's applying to that vehicle, so that now we're starting to get an opportunity to see that true cost coming through on each job, and it gives us an opportunity to see what our efficiency is and make what necessary corrections that we possibly can to our workload, as well as how we delegate and understand our strengths and weaknesses by technician, assigning labor of certain skill set, and it gives us an opportunity to see the balance of our workload. I'm going to conclude this clip here. I think that that's given us enough to where I can go into our next clip and start to work on our job costing. So this will conclude this clip, and hopefully you found this helpful. Thank you.